and welcome, dear viewers, to a tale as old as time itself. Tonight, we journey to ancient Babylon, where love and pride intertwine. This is the story of the king who built heaven, a parable that reminds us of the fragile nature of human ambition. Are you ready to explore the wonders and follies of one of history's greatest kings? Let's begin our journey through the hanging gardens of Babylon. Picture a city of golden spires and towering ziggurats. Babylon, jewel of the ancient world. At its heart stands King Nebuchadnezzar II, a ruler of unmatched power and vision. But our story begins not with his conquests, but with the queen's tears. For you see, the king had married a princess from a distant, mountainous land. Though she loved her husband, she missed the green hills of her home. The flat, dry landscape of Babylon left her heart aching for what she'd left behind. Nebuchadnezzar, moved by his wife's sorrow, made a decision. If he couldn't bring her back to the mountains, he would bring the mountains to her. And so began the creation of one of the world's most legendary wonders. The king summoned architects, engineers, and gardeners from across his vast empire. "Build me a mountain of green," he commanded, "a paradise that defies the desert." For years, the air filled with the sounds of construction. Stone by stone, the terraces rose towards the sky. Ingenious waterways were hidden within the structure. They carried life-giving moisture to every level of the growing wonder. Trees from far-off lands were carefully transplanted. Flowers of every color imaginable burst into bloom. Vines cascaded down the sides like leafy waterfalls. At last, the hanging gardens of Babylon stood complete, a man-made mountain of lush greenery in the heart of the arid plain. The queen's eyes filled with joy at the sight. Nebuchadnezzar had turned her homesickness into a miracle of engineering and beauty. Word of the garden spread far and wide. Travelers came from distant lands just to catch a glimpse. They wrote of their wonder, calling it a paradise on earth. But as the years passed, something began to change in the king. With each praise, each awestruck visitor, his pride grew. He began to see the gardens not as a gift of love, but as a monument to his own greatness. One evening, as the setting sun turned the gardens to gold, Nebuchadnezzar climbed to the highest terrace. Looking out over his realm, he felt a swell of arrogance in his chest. "Is this not great Babylon," he proclaimed, "which I have built by my mighty power and for my glorious majesty?" The words had barely left his lips when a strange stillness fell over the garden. That very night, a change came over the mighty king. He awoke confused, his mind clouded. His words became nonsense, his eyes unfocused. The court watched in horror as their great ruler descended into madness. Before anyone could stop him, Nebuchadnezzar fled the palace. He vanished into the wilderness, leaving behind his crown, his robes, and his sanity. For 7 long years, the king of Babylon lived like a wild animal. He roamed the lands beyond the city, eating grass like cattle. His hair grew long and matted, his nails like birds' claws. The man who had built a paradise was now lower than the beasts of the field. Meanwhile, in Babylon, the hanging gardens began to lose their splendor. Without their creator's passionate care, the plants started to wither. The intricate waterways fell into disrepair. What was once a wonder slowly became just another set of crumbling ruins. But our story doesn't end there. After 7 years of wandering, something extraordinary happened. Nebuchadnezzar's mind cleared, like storm clouds parting to reveal the sun. He looked up at the sky, and for the first time in years, he truly saw. The king who had once thought himself a god now understood his own mortality. He returned to Babylon, not in triumph, but in humility. The people were amazed to see their long-lost king. Gone was the arrogant ruler who boasted of his own glory. In his place stood a man who had learned the hardest of lessons. Nebuchadnezzar took up his crown once more, but he wore it differently now. He ruled not as a god among men, but as a man among men. The hanging gardens never returned to their former glory. In time, they faded into legend, leaving many to question if they ever truly existed. but the story of Nebuchadnezzar and his gardens lives on. It reminds us that even the mightiest can fall, that pride, if left unchecked, can destroy what love creates, and that true greatness lies not in what we build for ourselves, but in what we learn when all we've built crumbles away. As we come to the end of our tale, what lessons can we draw? Perhaps it's that love can inspire incredible achievements, or that nature, in all its beauty, can never truly be tamed by human hands. But most importantly, it teaches us the value of humility, for even kings must learn to bow before the vastness of the sky. What do you think? Has this ancient story spoken to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please like and subscribe for more historical tales and parables. Until next time, may your own gardens always bloom with wisdom and humility.